careful with those drone shots. Don't want to have the play stopped again. That was nearly a year ago when Brentford were entertaining Wolves, but it's fine. This is Back of the Net. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And it's League One Bournemouth versus League One Brentford. How many times did we used to say that? No more. We're Premier League sides. And in this preview show, here's what's coming up. We'll talk about Brentford's stunning season so far. Just what is the ceiling for the Bees?
We'll talk about the Black Knights takeover. And now they're with Lorient as well. Bill Foley has got another club in there, but Bournemouth remain the parent.
We need to do our transfer talk. There's rumours of Dango, Ouattara, but also Danjuma dealings as well. Is he to make a return to the Cherries?
And we've got all the match build-up, including team news, stats, trivia, and all you need to know for the upcoming game.
Plus, Tom's here, he's going to predict both sides, and this one could be a very difficult one to do indeed. So it's going to be a 5:30 p.m. kickoff at the G-Tech Community Stadium. That's a bit of a mouthful. And we're live in front of the Sky cameras. Tom?
Ideal.
Never won a game that's not 3 p.m. this season.
No.
Never won a game that's not televised. Are you confident?
Yeah, these things have got to change. That's what you do, isn't it? When there's an omen like that, you go, it's got to end at some point if it goes against you. So yeah, who knows, mate? But nice. I think it's a good game to get on the telly. Actually, Brentford doing well at home, Bournemouth struggling. You know, how will it go down? I like to think they'll see a bit of a lift. You know, like you briefly mentioned, and we'll go into a few transfer talks and then the takeover stuff. I'm hoping that'll lift the boys a little bit and we'll have a good performance, mate, at what I still call Griffin Park. Yeah,
very, very true. Look, the train engineering works tomorrow means that if you are getting on from Bournemouth, you're going to be slightly rerouted. So it's going to be slower than normal. It's going to be about 2 hours 30 on some, or there are other journeys where you have to make 2 changes. But either way, add the tube and train to that. You're looking at probably 3.5 hours to get to Brentford. So safe travels if you do. But yeah, new stadium. You alluded to it there. The old stadium, a pub on every corner. Yeah. 2 out of 4 of those pubs have actually closed, by the way. But it's a shame. But you know, the club needed to move on. It's fair to say they have moved on.
Yeah, they've had to move with what's going on the pitch. I think everyone said it. They seem very well run. The recruitment team, some of the players they get in. I mean, we've all spoke about how they just replace a good striker with a good striker, and everything was good. And it was that I guess would have been sentimentally difficult, but it probably needed to happen. I always like Griffin Park. And as I say, I find it really difficult with these new stadiums to not just to call them the old one. But for a Bournemouth fan, and for every away fan, really, it's quite exciting because it's like it's a new stadium. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to checking it out, mate. And hopefully we'll have a 100% record there after the weekend.
Now, different generations of Cherries fans will have different memories. Those from the original Great Escape season in the mid-90s will remember a famous win at Griffin Park there. Recently, though, our matches against them have been topsy-turvy. Probably more topsy than turvy. I don't even know what either of those words mean if you have them on their own. But they're now at their brand new ground. It's a first for us, not a first for the players, though. Can you remember when we last played them? We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But when they were looking to move ground, they obviously couldn't redevelop Griffin Park because they were surrounded by houses. So they wanted to build a new stadium at Brentford Market, but that didn't happen. But then they found this little kind of triangle of land. It's a really interesting design. It's about 7.5 acres, this site, and it's surrounded by railway track, so the stadium plonked to the middle. It's a weird design. It's almost a hexagonal design. And when you actually look at it from above, you sort of see the grandstand, but then the corners are very, very small, but it creates its own very, very good atmosphere. Greta Thunberg will be very happy because it's sustainable, one of the most sustainable grounds in the Premier League. Rainwater harvesting, solar panels as well, significant reductions in the building materials as well. So they've got a good manager, a good stadium, and a good team. And this season, Tom, they've produced some unbelievable results. Thomas Frank is doing such a good job. There's the league table on screen at the moment. They are sitting pretty, and when you see them getting results against teams like Man City, against Spurs, against Liverpool, and then the atmosphere inside that stadium, especially after the Liverpool game, they seem so united, and the only way is up for them, isn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely been really impressed, and as you say, that home form as well has been really good, and they seem to have managed to negate their way against these bigger teams and find a way. But then they're still got the ammo in them to kill off smaller teams as well a lot of the time. So yeah, they're doing really well. I think I wouldn't know 100%, but I think when I was predicting the start of the season, I thought they'd struggle.
Yeah.
And I think that was mainly down to the loss of Christian Eriksen, who really helped them last season. And I thought, that might, and that kind of second season syndrome and all this kind of stuff that you hear, you thought, will Brentford suffer? But there's no way they'll be in that mix. They'll probably be thinking, can we get top half this season, the way they're playing, and obviously depending on what happens with Ivan Toney as well, because he's so key to them. But they're good to watch, as you say, mate. The manager, whether he's likeable or not, is a good manager. Recruitment team, very good. They just all areas of the pitch, they're looking really strong, mate. So yeah, the more I talk about it, the more I'm with the form we're on. But that'd be us, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be typical us?
It would be.
That we just go there and, I mean, obviously I'm sure we'll go into it, but that game earlier in the season when we played them, it wasn't a very good game, but we managed to really nullify them. So I think we'll probably try and do the same again, but hopefully we can hurt them up the other end.
It's almost like you know what's going to happen. Let's see what happened last time, shall we?
Heading off to the Brunswick.
Looking at it on paper, it looks like a 4-3-1-2 maybe, with Billing off Keeper Moore and Solanke, and then a narrow 3, but I'm not sure.
What I do know is it'll be a very, very tough game today. Brentford are no mugs at this level. They're very physical. They offer a lot of threat from set pieces.
It's a weird game today. I don't think the Football Nation are really excited about this game as much as we are they?
What, the League One derby?
Yeah, I know. Penalty claim there, he's not going to give it. They're checking for a possible penalty. No!
No penalty.
You're not giving it. Far post, the set piece. Oh, back into the... Oh, hello! Jefferson Lerma with a header there, clean off the line. In the box. Good cross. Come on, Cherries.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a turgid game, but I mean there were penalty shouts. It went to VAR. The referee said no. There was one at the end where it looked like it hit a hand. It felt like we were unlucky, but at that point in time, 0-0 was an all right result, I suppose. But looking back, 3 points would have been handy.
I think it's one of them. I think it was Brentford at home and Wolves at home, Gary Neal's first game when he was in charge on an interim basis. And they were both 0-0 at home. And I remember at the time, after taking a few beatings, you thought, that's not too bad. We've kept a decent side out. It's a good point. But then when you got a bad one like we are, you look back on them games and go, we could have nicked that. And that's just the way it is. I think the calls on the day, I think they were like handball shouts, weren't they? And I remember thinking, I don't think they are penalties, but because we'd had a few go against us, we thought, well, if they are, then this could be. So we felt a little bit hard done by, but not for a Brentford point of view. I think they would have thought that they weren't penalties anyway. But I remember on the night, it was an evening game, wasn't it? Yeah. And I remember thinking it probably was a fair result. I don't think either team done quite enough to win the game. So, yeah, I mean, looking at Brentford as a whole, it wasn't a bad point, and it might be a vital one come the end, but I'd probably take it this time.
Yeah, so that was the last time we played them at home. Last time we played them at their place then, Tom. Painful memories like a dagger through the heart. Although the first few minutes were very good. We were all watching on our TVs. Of course, you were there at the Vitality Stadium for the first leg, but they also had a certain percentage as well getting behind their boys. And it's fair to say their fans were shocked and stunned where Danjuma seemed to have the run of the whole pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, the second leg, wasn't it? Where
they sent everyone up for a corner.
Yeah, that was it. Because we won the first leg 1-0, Danjuma.
Yeah.
Because I managed to get to that game. I think there was, like you say, a certain capacity you could get in or whatever. And and then that second leg, you're thinking, well, we just need a draw. And then we score early. Like you say, a really weird counter-attack. Danjuma scored. And it felt like, I mean, I wouldn't have known what the odds would have been at that time. But if you had gone online then and said Brentford will get through it would have been decent odds, I think. But bit of a capitulation from us, a few silly mistakes, and Brentford took advantage, didn't they? Old Emi Marcondes won a penalty, didn't he?
Yeah.
Who's literally just left us on loan, but obviously he's come to us since. So, yeah, really, really weird parallels in this game with the Marcondes factor. of him winning a penalty, then signing for us, and Chris Mepper made an error, who used to play for them, and Danjuma being our one that nearly got us to the line, who we're trying to sign. I'm what's the word? I'm manifesting it with this Holland shirt, by the way. But yeah, loads of little weird links. But as you say, mate, it was not what. Didn't we lose to him in the league there as well that season? So we have struggled there. But new stadium, mate.
It's a bit insensitive of you to be mentioning betting when talking about Brentford, mate. But anyway,
I didn't even think about it. I promise.
0-0 then, the last. But Tom, talk me through their results since because that was October, wasn't it? Saturday the 1st of October. But after that, I think they had a pummelling at Newcastle United, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Newcastle were on a good run, and yeah, they really took a hiding off them. Then they backed it up though. They managed to turn it all around, beating Brighton, which is no mean feat. Point off Chelsea. And then they got another pumping off Villa. So it was really, I think that was when Villa had just sacked Gerrard. Then they drew with Wolves, and you thought, these are and Forest. So you kind of thought maybe they're slipping down the table a little bit. They lost on penalties in the Cup.
Yeah, the Cup competition's not been too great for them, have they?
No.
However, at the Etihad.
Yeah, so they lose to Gillingham in the Cup, but sometimes that kind of right cup's gone. Go and win at the Etihad, unbelievable result. And then a good point against Tottenham, where they could have even won that game. Backed up, win at West Ham, and then you started seeing them climbing, and then obviously beating Liverpool was a brilliant result. I know Liverpool aren't quite on it, but still a really good result. And then again, like you say, cup competitions, I did not expect them to lose at home to West Ham. No. Sometimes that's the way it goes, isn't it? Like, I think you've seen recently Southampton doing well in the Cup. Sometimes it's a nice distraction, whereas Brentford are going well in the league. So not kind of too bothered about the Cups, which is similar to ourselves.
So it's exciting times at Brentford. And look, it feels like an exciting time for Bournemouth off the pitch, not necessarily on the pitch, but you may have seen in the news recently, it was just this morning actually, that AFC Bournemouth chairman Bill Foley and the Black Knight Football Club has acquired a significant minority ownership in the French side Lorient. The investment in the League One side, it advances Foley's multi-club ownership strategy, which began with the takeover of the Cherries. And the agreement provides the opportunity to invest additional capital after this season. It's fair to say that the reaction with the Lorient fans isn't particularly good. So they put their own tweet out this morning. Bournemouth fans were replying on it, but it says, we're going to become the satellite club of a club which is in an antechamber of the Premier League, at the bottom of the Premier League. That was one fan who said that. This is Google Translate speaking, by the way. It's for this kind of thing that we really need a dislike button, said another fan as well. I can't be disappointed with this news, says someone, that our players go to Bournemouth is one thing, but they leave at the right price. But yeah, there's a lot of fans on Twitter that aren't overly happy in terms of, and you can sort of see it. This is the end. Thank you for this great adventure since 1926 as well. Not particularly great. Well, how would you feel if you were a fan of their club? Or is it a win-win situation, this?
Yeah, I can totally appreciate Lorient's kind of their fan base and their worries about it and their fears, because everyone knows, I mean, never mind inside, but outside of the Premier League, but the Premier League is where the money's at. The Premier League is the be all and end all. It's the biggest and richest league in the world. And you're gonna, if you're Bill Foley and the Black Knights, you're literally gonna centre everything towards that. So I know I don't think officially you can call it a parent club, but that's basically what it is, and we're always going to be that. Regardless of how they do, really. So,
but they've got a 19,000 seat stadium, mate. I mean, they're like sixth in.
They're going well. They're knocking on the European door.
It's the Premier League pull, though, isn't it?
It's the Premier League pull, mate. We've seen it with loads of different things. I think I mentioned it in the previous video. It's just one that always pops to my head. That Weghorst went doing really well in Bundesliga and went to Burnley. He's actually going to Man U now, by the looks of it. But it shows that how big the Premier League pull is. That you go to Burnley, no disrespect, who are going down, because it's the Premier League. Obviously, we've seen things with Gerrard go from Rangers, who are a massive club, but they're not in the Premier League. So yeah, it does make a difference. I would be fearful, but equally, I'd go, as much as we're parent club, Bill Foley ain't going to Lorient to hurt them. He's not going to want to do that. So he'll make sure, I think what it'll be is, if we were to get some of their top players, we'd make sure there's a fee over there and they could still develop and get their own players. I think it'll work the other way as well. No disrespect, but I would like to think that some of our fringe players would be good at that level.
Yeah, true.
And they might get the odd loan players in and things like that, which could help them. So, I mean, I will be looking and hoping, obviously, Lorient do well. But equally, if one of their players starts doing well, which a few are, I'll be looking to, hopefully, we could potentially snap them up. But it's still a little bit unknown, mate, how it's going to completely work. But we're definitely at the top of it, of this kind of multi-club, strategy.
Strategy.
We're definitely in a better position than Lorient. So I understand their fans' fears, really.
So how can we seamlessly segue this into the transfer tale section, mate? I don't know.
Who knows, mate? Ouattara.
Dango Ouattara.
That's that.
Do you know much about him?
What a player.
He scored and assisted against Monaco in their
the
last
other
game, and looked half decent.
Yeah, I mean, he's got. It depends how you look at it. I looked at it, and it was like over 40 games, and not even 10 goals. I thought, was he? But then you look at him more recently, and his goal contributions, he's got like over 10 this season. So he's obviously up and coming. I think he's only 20. Which I think, I'm not 100% sure, but that would mean you wouldn't even need to be registered at 25.
Yeah,
so that's always helpful for numbers. But it's one of them. I think he looks like an exciting player that will, get fans off their seats, which I'm all for, and will score goals and create, and that's the type of player he is. Whether he's ready to come in now and be in a relegation scrap, maybe not. But he's certainly one for the future, and it's kind of one of them. You feel like if you don't get him now, then a lot of bigger clubs might come in around him, so it would make sense. And then Moffey as well was also not so much links. I think Nice are also interested.
Saints,
and
West Ham,
and Saints and West Ham as well. Yeah, but he's been one that this Ouattara, being honest, I didn't really know who he was till recently. Whereas Moffey, I heard about last season as well, kind of being their talisman. So they're their two key men by the looks of it. I know they've got a few other players. I think I've heard. I want to say Lafia, I think his name is, in midfield. And they've got a few young players that are coming through that we might look to maybe nick off them. But they're doing really well, mate.
But, it's not only us that are looking at Dango Ouattara, but we might have a distinct advantage given this tie-up. So, therefore, that's a good thing. We may have a distinct advantage with another player that we've been linked with. I'm just reading this now. Arnaut Groenevel. Never heard of him. Groenevel? Never heard of him. Who's that?
Danjuma. Does it work better than Selassie, do you think?
I think it might,
yeah.
Loved Alex Deutsch's tweet that I read earlier on, though. There it is. Ding! Why didn't we do it with Takeover?
I know.
I mean, it's basically the same, apart from the last syllable.
It starts,
Why
took
didn't
it, I
we do
know.
that?
Yeah, that's...
We are shoehorning that chant in somehow with some player.
God, yeah.
But... Look, Bournemouth have joined Aston Villa, Spurs and Everton in expressing an interest in re-signing our former winger. What's gone wrong at Villarreal? Because I thought he was doing really well there. Didn't he score like 50 games and 22 goals or something? I thought he's been doing really well, but why is he looking to move? I don't get it.
Yeah, it is a weird one. I mean, he was doing really well. I remember getting a man match at Old Trafford not long ago as well, and he's scoring goals in Europe and in La Liga. It seemed like Emery, who was obviously at Villarreal before he went to Villa, really liked him and played him kind of more up top, really, because of his pace on the counter-attack. And Emery likes a counter-attacking system. I think it worked really well. Since he's gone, I don't think it's worked quite as well for Danjuma. And I think he seemed to have a good relationship with Emery, and maybe that's been part to play in it. Also, I'm not sure about Villarreal and La Liga in general with finances, and I think if he's maybe thinking, I'm not sure, a 6-month loan deal to somewhere that will pay his wages, Villarreal will probably be okay anyway, and it might make sense for them. I'm not completely sure, but I know a few clubs are linked, and maybe with the a sell-on clause and the fact, if you're Danjuma and you think 6-month loan deal and then I can look what to do depending where teams are in the league,
wouldn't you?
You'd go to a club that you loved already. The fans love you. You know a lot of the players. People seem to forget that O'Neill had him because O'Neill was a coach with us under Woodgate, so he might have a good relationship there with Gary O'Neill as well.
But do players have the same dewy-eyed reminiscence as fans do? Because obviously we'd love him back, and to us it makes perfect sense. For him, doesn't he just want to play where he'll get paid load of money and in front of the most fans as possible?
I think I agree, but I think the fact that it will be a loan deal will mean he'll get the money whoever he's had, doesn't matter who's paying him. From his point of view,
he knows the area.
But also he seems like the type of person which I respect, that he loves being loved. Do you know what I mean?
So do you think he will have more of an ego boost at Bournemouth than he would at somewhere like Villa?
Absolutely, and Everton and all these other teams.
And less competition?
Probably. Yeah. You would have thought it'll be one of the first names on the team sheet when he comes in, to be honest with you. And we're lacking in them areas as well. And like you say, he knows he'll be a bit of a hero there. He knows that the fans know what he can give. And if he comes in and keeps us up, he'll think, oh, I know what it's like here, I'm back home, happy days. And if we don't achieve our goals and we end up going down, he can go, all right, I'll go somewhere else, or I'll go back to Villarreal. So I think it does tick a lot of boxes, mate, for everyone. And as I say, I'm manifesting that. I literally bought this Holland shirt when we had Danjuma, for Danjuma, and I thought, God, why did I get that? It's coming back out. And mate, I am one that we mentioned it briefly about Ouattara. I'm very much I love players that just get you off your seats. And I think that's why there's been a lot of talk about Dembele getting a few more minutes. Because as a fan, it's just lovely when you get a player and you think, oh, he's going to get us excited. And Danjuma's that sort of player, so I'd be absolutely over the moon.
You see some media sources like Team Talk saying about Danjuma, you're not really paying attention. You just think, Danjuma, like a lazy journalism. And then up pops Chris Temple saying that Bournemouth are in the hunt. So when Chris tweets, then you know it could be serious. And Alex Crook, not so much. But however, he said they're linked as well. Dan Davis as well from Dorset Live as well. And the word that they used was confident. Confident, mate. I mean, that's. But then I did tweet from my own personal account saying we were confident of getting Bielsa.
Yeah, true.
And look what happened there.
True. I mean, as I just mentioned, I do think that it makes sense. It ticks a lot of boxes for all parties. So, I was the same as you. I thought he was getting linked with a few clubs. We're obviously going to get chucked in there because he's been here before and we've got a bit of cash maybe to throw at it. But yeah, when the voices like Chris Temple, Dan Davis, The Athletic and stuff start saying it, it gets you a bit excited. Jacob Towns will even come in from, he's down, he's at the Neighbours now, but he said, made a few links about it, which is nice. I did mention to him that we want fans' favourites to come back, so he's more than welcome to at any point.
Hi, Jacob.
But yeah, no, really exciting, mate, and we'll see what happens. What I will say is you've got to read the room, and people like Temple, and they're only going to say these things if the clubs allow them to, and if they think it's the right thing to do. Getting Bournemouth fans excited about Danjuma if it's not going to happen seems odd. Yeah. So that makes me think it's more likely than unlikely. Just get him in.
And like you said about on the last show about when you get new faces through the door, it sort of raises the upbeat feeling within the squad. And you know what? Definitely. That could be just what we need. Alas, he's not going to be signed in time for the Brentford game, but it's time to concentrate on the Brentford game. And look, we're looking at team news at the moment, and one of our eagle-eyed spotters has been out and about, hanging from the trees in Kings Park. No, but Neto has been seen in training, so don't rule out a return for him. Of course, we know that Adam Smith, he's not going to be available, is he?
No,
which is a blow.
Real blow, especially with it looks like Fredericks ain't going to be back either. Big chance for probably Stacey, but as you say, normally if Smith were to go out, you'd think, well, Fredericks' experienced replacement. But it's a big chance for someone like Stacey to come in and grab his spot. But yeah, real blow to lose Smithy. I think it was the last game he needed to avoid a yellow, and he got one. But he was against Man U. He was against some good attackers. But we will miss Smithy, not just for his footballing ability, his experience in there as well when things get tough, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just looking through some training ground images that were shown on AFCB TV. Of course, Lloyd there. We'll talk about Lloyd and, the need for unity within the fan base. One of the players that we did see training in full training pretty much is David Brooks, and that will be such a boost to see him back. Do you think he could maybe be cheekily named on the bench or something like that?
He could be just, it sounds weird, but he could be named on the bench with no real thinking of putting him on, just because you get 9 subs these days. We've got a few injuries. You'll probably just put a youngster on, if not like a Dominic Sadie or someone like that. You kind of might as well put him on and say, you're not going to come on, but be involved in that match day experience again, going with the boys, warming up beforehand. It'll be a bit of a boost to the crowd to know you're nearly available. It's a shame at this stage that there's no like little cup games and stuff. He can maybe get some minutes, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some maybe games in the under 23 soon and get some minutes. But really positive. To get him back involved in the group, mate, because not only is he a bloody quality player, but it's the same with new signings. It will feel like that. It will feel like a bit of a lift to everyone, to the fans and the players. So yeah, really good to see him back.
Yeah, Tavernier's on the road to recovery, as is Ryan Fredericks as well. Junior Stanislas is Junior Stanislas. And it's good to see the smiling faces in training, despite what's going on. Look, it's Gary O'Neill. You've seen him in little bits and bobs. He's trying to create lads, you boys, a good sort of team mentality there, and we really hope that can show on the pitch. One thing that slightly worried me was Dom Solanke was seen in the training ground photos, but today at Dean Court, when we had someone just walking past, they didn't see him, but he could just be being rested, maybe. Yeah,
could be having an interview inside or something. Who knows? Might just be bad timing. Let's hope he's all right. I know that Gary did say that there might be a few late calls. Yeah. So yeah, it could be anyone, I guess, but hopefully Dom's fine.
I bet you don't know the team news about Ivan Toney, do you?
I do.
What's happening with him and Brentford?
Ivan Toney should start. It's literally the headline I saw at Brentford.
It's good and bad for us because when we've played against Brentford and Ivan Toney's played, we've largely kept him out.
Yeah, it's a hard one to say, especially because you don't want to jinx anything. And Ivan Toney's a good player, so I'd rather them not have him than have him. But equally, we said all this before in terms of, I mean, Haaland's a weird example, but we did actually keep him out despite conceding a lot of goals in that game.
Brick wall.
Sometimes when we come up, we've said this in the past, so Chelsea recently, we struggled with a Havertz dropping in the hole. We struggled with Jesus, who dropped in the hole. Firmino at Liverpool. And sometimes when they've had like a big man that just kind of more stays up there as a focal point, I think Meps and Senesi in particular quite prefer that than having someone that gets in all these pockets. And I wonder if we won't be too disheartened by that, them having a focal point. I think even like Mitrovic, we've always done, I know he's popped up with some goals, but we've done okay with in large. I do personally think we struggle with these players that pick up these pockets and we're not sure where to go. So I'm trying to look for anything to say it'll be a positive for us. It won't be. Ivan Toney's a good player. But it looks like he's back for him, mate.
Okay, and what else have we got? Of course, Aaron Hickey and I think Frank Onyeka, they're working their way back to full fitness. Also, Shandon Baptiste and Pontus Jansson, they do remain out.
Yeah.
I feel for Wissa though, because he did really well against Liverpool, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there could be a way that they try and still get him in the side because he can play off wide areas and up top. But if Tony's back, he will probably be the one to miss out. I'll go into it when I do my predicted team. But he's a good option off the bench, and he's always done well for him since he's come in. And Buemo's probably a little bit ahead of him in terms of starting.
So Ivan Toney's definitely the man to watch. He's their leading scorer with 12 goals plus 3 assists.
I'd bet on him to score first.
When are these jokes going to end?
I don't know, mate.
Right, let's have a look at our head-to-head record against Brentford. Look, we're not going to go all the way back, but it's fair to say it's pretty patchy. Look, we've been through the divisions with them. League 2, League 1. In the cup competitions, the Johnston's Paint Trophy. Let's not talk about that one in 2001. However, we have had a few wins against them. There you can see in 2012, also in the Championship as well. That was at the second game in our promotion season, I think. But then in the Premier League, it's been on the whole not. And then in the Championship, though, later on, as you can see, LLL. Yes, we did get a win in the playoffs, but other than that, it's not very good. It feels like they're on the up and we're not, and the league table probably reflects that.
And it does always feel like, which is not a great thing going into this game, but that we do all right against them at home, but they do well against us at home. Like, it does feel like that. It's always seems to be quite evenly matched over the years, and that home advantage has just made the difference. So hopefully that won't be the same this time out. But yeah, at this moment in time, it's probably one of the first times we're going into it where they're absolutely buzzing and like a bee, and we're not. So normally it seems like it's quite evenly matched. This time it's kind of one of them that I think, I don't want to do another joke about it, but they'll probably be the bankers of the weekend in terms of your accumulators, if Ivan or anyone is putting a bet on them.
Right, who's the referee for tomorrow? Well, he's the best you can get.
Oh, Gillett. That's very good.
Jared
Gillett
like is our referee. The last time he took charge of our games was in the Championship season 2021. All away games against Coventry City, Birmingham, Brentford, Preston, and the playoff semi-final at Brentford. We had him as a fourth official, I think.
He's the one that had that famous mic thing, didn't he? Yeah. Australian.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah. We got the Aussie down at the moment, haven't we? Australian. That's good. No, I'm happy with that.
So he sent Chris Mapham off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's not particularly.
So he can't do it again because that'd be like conspiracy.
Pressure will be on Jared. Let's do the teams. Come on then. Right, here we go. Tom is going to talk me through both teams. Tom, I'm going to give you the option as to which team you'd like. Actually, I'm not going to give you the option. Should we start with Brentford?
Yeah, they're at home, aren't they? Let's do it.
Yeah, okay, we're going to start with Brentford. And Tom, when you click your fingers, they're going to appear on screen. There we go. There is the Brentford side there, and they seem to be formed in a sort of, what's that, a 3-5-2 by the looks of it?
Yeah, pretty much. As with all these days, it's quite flexible, but they do seem to play with them 3 centre-halves and wing-backs and then get 2 up top. As I say, sometimes they mix it up and Buemo plays off a wide position, but I think they're going to go with that 3-5-2. It's been quite successful for them at the moment.
Right then, name your goalkeeper.
David Raya. Yeah. I know, I saw actually, a lot of clubs are after him. Very good goalkeeper, and Frank said he's not going anywhere. But he's a top goalkeeper, actually. Goes under the radar a little bit, I would say.
I'm surprised you had time to say that.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. If he does that again, actually, if he does that again, is that a good thing? Because he's trying to because that means he's trying to time waste to get the clock. Who knows? Back three, I'm going to go Zanka. I think people know him as Jorgensen as well. He's got a few different names.
Is he on the right hand side?
Yeah, I'd probably put him on the right hand side with Pinnock in the middle, who's done well for them. And then the experience of Ben Mee, who was a shrewd signing when they bought him.
What an astute signing!
I really thought that when they got it, and it's turned out to be that way. On the right-hand side, kind of right wing back, we'll go for Rasmussen. He's got a few names again. It's like rumours, but I can't pronounce it, so I'm going Rasmussen.
Rasmus, does he play in the shadows?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Good. Is that a good joke? I'm not even sure I get it. Oh yeah, good tune that. Oh yeah, that's good. I got that in the end.
Music moguls out there, take note.
Left side would be Rico Henry.
Yeah.
He's been really good. I know there was a few little calls about him getting in the England squad not long ago. I think he's a really upcoming wing back. So yeah, that'll be what they'll do on the wing back positions. I would have thought. We'll go Norgard bang in the middle.
Yeah.
He's been solid for him as well, and he'll make things tick for him. He's the glue in there. And then either side you'll have Jensen and Arnaut. Probably Jensen on that right hand side, Arnaut on the left hand side. But yeah, they're really good hard workers in that midfield three. So they seem to be quite consistent in there, especially with Baptiste out at the moment. So yeah, that's what I think they'll do. As I say, I think Mbeumo will play. Visser could come in, but I think Mbeumo will play. And they've got a good combination there because of his pace, and then as we mentioned earlier, mate, Ivan Toney. So that's probably what I feel like I'll probably get that right. I've got to be honest, I'm not that great at them, but I feel like with the injuries they've got, it kind of picks themselves. Let me know, Brentford fans, if, like I say, I think Visser could be in with a shout, but that's what I think they'll do.
All right, on to AFC Bournemouth then. I've put us in our purple kit. I presume we're playing in that.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually, yeah.
It's either black or it'll be that. I reckon they'll play in this kit. Right, okay. In goal, Neto's been seen. Could he start?
I'm going to go for it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
I think Neto's going to start.
Do goalkeepers have to be as fit as outfield players? I presume not really.
Just in a different way, I guess. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They don't, sprinting and stuff like that. Yeah, things like that. But I think even though it's kind of like being confirmed, but it sounds like he's murmured that he's been kind of nearly there for a while. And I remember when Gary Neal come in before and he put him straight in. I remember his first away game, we ended up getting our first win against Forest. So I just feel like he might come in for this one. I think he's had enough time, so I'm going to go Neto.
All right, I'm seeing a 4.
Yeah, I'm going to go with about 4 for this one.
Okay.
Obviously, right back kind of feels like it picks itself now. It's going to be Jack Stacey. Yeah. Big game for him. At right back, we know what he gives us in terms of energy, application, but it's just making sure he's a bit more game intelligent, I'd probably say, but big chance for him. I'm going to go with Mepham and Senesi at centre halves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go Lloyd Kelly at left back.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to put Kelly in. Obviously,
no place for Jordan Smith?
No, I think he's going to be left out of this one. I think he'll look at Kelly at that left back slot that he did do previously, and just to give us a little bit more solidity in there. And then if Stacey does bomb on like he likes to do, Kelly can come in. It makes it quite comfortable into a back three, and that could be something going forward with Kelly. I mentioned to you off air that. Do you remember when we had Danjuma before? Yeah. Kelly was left back a lot, and that worked quite well because Kelly is a bit more solid from a defensive point of view. So I think we'll go with that back four.
All right, in midfield?
Lerma and Lewis Cook as the kind of 2 central midfield players in there. I think that kind of picks itself. Lerma was rested for the cup game, but he's been in training and stuff, so I would have thought it'd be them too.
I'll keep him that way round. Okay.
I'm going to go Billing in the kind of 10 role. Billing more advanced than them two. In his favourite position, I would say.
That's the position he's most effective.
Yeah, exactly.
He does often come out to the left, but
yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. But I do think that's what we'll get. This is a bit more difficult. I do think Christie will play on that right hand side. I think also the fact that Stacey coming in, I think Christie will help him, won't he? I know sometimes people want to see a little bit more.
He's shown a lot of endeavour.
He always does, Ryan Christie, and he'll work his socks off. But
endeavour.
Yeah, that we'll leave it at that. And then, and to be fair to him, in the cup game, even though we were pretty bad, he scored and got an assist. I think he'll start. I think Jane Anthony might get the shout on the left-hand side. Okay, so
if it was Jane Anthony, if we did need to go 3 at the back, then he could naturally become a wing-back then, him and Stacey, I suppose. He could go back and Kelly go left. So
yeah, that's what I mean. I think that flexibility could work. So I think we'll go with that. As much as I think a lot of people, myself included, would like to see Dembele chucked in. I think away from home at Brentford, I think that's how we'll go. And then obviously hoping Dom's fine and Solanke will lead the line. If he were to be out, it would just be more in for him.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'll play them both in this game. So yeah,
it's funny. Like you know, if Dom was out, I mean, obviously he wasn't seen on Friday. That could be for whatever reason. However, it's so strange that we would keep the same team but just change one for the other, yet they're completely different strikers.
Yeah, I can't see how else you'd go about it, especially with Jamal Lowe just leaving on loan. There isn't really any other option. I think you just try and get the ball. You'd probably try and go a little bit more direct, get more to hold the ball up and get billing off him. So I don't think it changes too much, but obviously the quality on the ball is much more with Dom, and you'd rather keep it being that kind of plan B, I guess.
Yeah, there we go then. There is the team. Thanks, Tom. Tom, you did an incredible job there. So what do we want to see tomorrow then? We want to get behind Kelly.
Yeah, of course.
We don't want to see booing. We don't want to see that.
I think everyone will get behind Lloyd, and hopefully has a good game, and then obviously soon enough we'll have Danjuma back in a stay strong Lloyd shirt anyway, so it'll be all fine. But yeah, I'm sure I really want him to have a good game if he does start, and yeah, he'll be part of the set pieces, which I hope we can, 1, take a corner.
Yeah,
that'd be lovely.
Yeah.
2, defend a corner. If we can get them 2 right, I'll be really chuffed. Yeah, that's the problem at the moment. I think we've said about it in previous shows, but it's up here as well now. Every corner, the fans think it, and I think the players think it. Oh no, we've got a bad record here. So hopefully that'll be fine. I do worry about Ben Mee coming up for corners and things like that, but we'll see. And yeah, as we keep saying, mate, I like to see a bit of bravery. I appreciate we're probably gonna have to soak it up a little bit. We're away from home at a team that are very good at home. We might have to soak it up a little bit, but we've got to show something on the other end. We've got to give them something to worry about. Otherwise, them 3 centre-halves can just get out the pitch, and it's going to be a nightmare for us. So I hope we can keep it solid. We've done that against Brentford before, but hopefully I'll offer something down the other end. But as much as we need wins, if we were to go there and get a point, I would be happy, and then get a few bodies in for a big game at home against Forest. So it'll be a positive point if we can get one. But yeah, just a bit of unity, bit of team spirit, a performance of endeavour and fight, and everyone scrapping, and and having some chances for shots on target and things like that. I'll be happy, mate.
Looking forward to it. A brand new stadium for AFC Bournemouth fans. Look, you're watching the complete fan experience on YouTube for Cherries fans. This is Back of the Net, and it's not just a preview. There's the post-match reaction show as well. We'll do the fan cams tomorrow. Also, you've got the match day vlog that lands, second looks, away day review show, Premier League show this week as well. 2 derbies to talk about as well, mate.
Yeah.
Manchester derby, North London derby.
Yeah.
It's a huge footballing weekend, but it's huge for Bournemouth, with Forest coming up next week as well.
Yeah.
Massive.
And
absolutely massive.
There's some big games down the bottom, isn't there? So, if we don't get anything, we could be really... I think there's some real kind of key games. I think West Ham are playing Wolves, and there's some real, tough games in there. So we need to pick up some points soon, mate. We really do. Hopefully we can start it this weekend.
Big news for the channel is going to be released at some point soon. I'm not going to tell you right now. But if you want to be part of it, by the way, thank you so much. We don't often plug this because we're wary of plug. But if you want to support the channel, you can do so for as little as £3 a month, and we do truly appreciate anyone who does that. It's via Ko-fi. You can access it at the link below. It's afcbpodcast.com/coffee, and what it does is help pay all our funds, because we do have rather a lot of funds that we pay out to get this to you. You can also buy a mug on there as well, but once you are part of Ko-fi, we'll put you on our private chat group. You can have show input, and whenever Tom makes any bloopers or any mistakes, it's always me, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's always me. You'll be seeing them as well, so there's loads you can be part of as well. Plus, we're going to get back to doing our monthly draws for all members as well. And there's been a really nice Art of Football print that got sent out the other week. Also, another exchange and marked scarf. So to be in the hat for one of them, just become a monthly member, and your name will also be on the end screen that's coming up. We truly appreciate your company, don't we, Tom?
We do indeed. It's so we enjoy doing it, but we do need just that little bit of help sometimes with certain bits and bobs we do to get all this stuff out. There's so much. You just mentioned it then about after the game. I think, bloody hell, so much stuff to do, isn't there? But it's good to be back after that little break. And let's start climbing the table, mate. We'll be absolutely fine. I'm looking forward to it.
And Tom, Tom's phone is always ringing to the stars. And like just the other day, oh yeah, hi James Alcott. Yeah, what can I do for you? What did you do for him?
Yeah, he done a really good. I really enjoyed the video actually. It was a good idea. He got a fan from each club in the Premier League and done a head and heart prediction of where they're going to finish.
What's yours? What's yours? I'm so interested in hearing. So what did you go for?
So I went with my head. I went 19th because I couldn't possibly say 20th because obviously that's Southampton. And then Heart I went 17th, and funnily enough, that was exactly the same as the Southampton fan did. So yeah, it was really interesting. Some good little predictions in there, and some familiar faces off different channels as well. So that was a really good video, and it was nice to be on Alcott's because I do like him. So
I love the title of the video. Like we chat to the biggest. But we're so tin pot. We're not even on.
It's clearly not talking about height either, girl. I'm sat on a cushion. But no, it was good to be part of that. I love doing bits like that. So yeah, hopefully we can keep doing some stuff, and hopefully my Heart will win and we'll stay in the Premier League, mate. It all starts on Saturday.
Yeah, safe travels tomorrow. However you're getting up there, let's be loud and proud and get behind the boys, get behind Lloyd, and hopefully be cheering on 3 points until full time. All smiles. Up the chest.
Up the chest. Danjuma.
Danjuma.
Get him in.
Sinesi.
Was he signed yet?